Welcome to the F1 Debate Show.
The 2016 Formula 1 World Champion Nico Rosberg retires from Formula 1.
We talk about Lewis Hamilton's attitude in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix after not winning the World Championship.
We take a look at the 2017 Formula 1 calendar.
We review the 2016 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
And we award Driver of the Day for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
But the biggest story this week is that Nico Rosberg has retired from Formula 1. Now, he released that just a few days ago now. It's absolutely shocking. We don't have much news from the F1 Debate Show on it. Obviously, we will be talking about it through the week. We'll probably make a separate video about it. And we'll also be talking about on the next F1 Debate Show in more detail. But obviously, it's been a massive shock to see that the reigning world champion Nico Rosberg has retired from Formula 1. Obviously, he steps down from Mercedes, a Formula 1 team, and will have a vacant seat, obviously next to the three-time world champion Lewis Hamilton. It will be very, very, very strange this, because obviously as we roll into 2017 season, the reigning world champion will not be in Formula 1. But as he has said to the press that he has climbed the mountain that he needs to, and obviously he's at the top, he's won his world championship, and he is very much happy. He wants to retire, he wants to step down from Formula 1 at least. He might go into something else, we're not sure, but as I say, we don't know much at the moment. We will be bringing you more throughout the week and in F1 Debate Show episode 36.
Now, as you know, Nico Rosberg is world champion of 2016. He was battling reigning world champion Lewis Hamilton. He won the championship in 2014, then he did it again the following year in 2015. So he was reigning coming into 2016. Could he make it 3 in a row? Now, obviously, as we all know, he couldn't, and Nico Rosberg from Germany has finally lifted the world championship, which obviously he sorely deserves. Now, it was a very scrappy battle through the year. Obviously, they didn't crash, you know, race after race after race, but obviously there was a few big moments that had happened. Obviously, Spain 2016 was a big one. They both collided with each other. They've had problems with the car, both of the drivers, mainly Lewis Hamilton. There's been wins, battling each other in supremacy and things like that. Anyway, it all comes down to the last race, and as we all know, Nico Rosberg finished second. That was one place over where he needed to finish, and he won the World Championships. Obviously, Lewis Hamilton went into the lead, into turn 1, and stayed there for the rest of the race. Obviously, he lifted the Abu Dhabi trophy for the 2016 race, but unfortunately not the World Championship. Anyway, in the race, now again we thought that Lewis Hamilton would just have to accept defeat in this instant and go, right, okay, I can win the race, but Nico, if he comes higher than third, which is looking like he will do, that's it, you know, I'll just have to accept it gracefully. Obviously, I have me 3 World Championships, so obviously I'm not going to be petty really, but that was very, very different about what happened in the race. Now, what happened was, let's start about lap 40 to 55, so obviously 15 laps to go in the race. The sun is setting in Abu Dhabi, and Lewis Hamilton starts pulling out these times, which are around 2 to 3 seconds slower than what the team call his delta time, which is obviously something that he needs to maintain during the race. Now, they always give him times to maintain. Again, it is around a 140. That's very sensible. Obviously, as the fuel decreases, the tyre weight increases, so obviously the times will fluctuate around the same. The team was saying, you know, maintain our delta time. It needs to be positive, because obviously we need a good gap. We need to keep that. We need to maintain also that gap that we have at the front, because as you know, if you did watch the race, the Ferraris were really catching it. They were dominant for the first time ever. And we will get into that in a bit, obviously, when we talk about the race in a little more detail. But obviously the Ferraris were actually coming ahead of the Red Bull drivers. So obviously they were catching. Obviously they were challenging for the podiums. They were pushing so hard, and obviously they were, you know, even challenging for the lead. And they really were. Obviously they were gaining on Lewis Hamilton, especially Sebastian Vettel. But Kimi Raikkonen was very, very close in the wings, and even saw the Red Bulls as well. So Lewis Hamilton started dropping off around 2-3 seconds, and that was obviously really pushing. That was grouping everyone together. Obviously, we had Rosberg in second place, Sebastian Vettel in third place, Max Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Kimi Raikkonen. And even catching was Nico Hülkenberg, all in that big group together. And obviously, if he was going to keep going like that, everyone would catch up. It would be like a safety car line with no safety car. So obviously he was getting really, really worrying, especially for like Nico Rosberg, who would have been thinking, come on, you know, I mean, obviously, I know what you might say out there. Of course, Nico could pass him on the circuit, but it's not as easy as that. if you want to stay on the racing line, and blah blah blah. But so obviously Nico was saying, and he was saying on the team radio, come on, get Lewis, you need to hurry up, stuff like that. Now the team were also intervening. They were also saying, come on Lewis, this is ridiculous, you're being so slow, this is probably the slowest we've ever seen. You drove your go-kart in like 2006 faster than this. So obviously it was really really bad from him. You can run I can run faster than this. So it was really really bad.
Actually, you couldn't, to be fair, both of us could.
Exactly. I could moonwalk faster backwards. Anyway, so it got to lap 50 or 55. Okay, so we've got 5 laps to go. Obviously, it was the sun had definitely said we were ready to see who would see the checkered flag, and obviously who would lift the world championship. They were getting ready for that, putting the champagne on or the rose water on ice. And Lewis Hamilton started pulling out some ridiculously slow laps. And a few statistics for you. Lewis Hamilton, last lap, it was 9.5 seconds slower than his pole position lap. So again, I'm just going to kind of, talk in hindsight really. So Lewis Hamilton's pole position lap was a 1:38, okay? The slowest time in qualifying was Marcus Ericsson with a 1:42. Now, we have what's called 107% rule, which if you are below that, which obviously is the full lap time, so 100% of full lap time, plus 7% of the fastest time. If you are below that, you are excluded from qualifying, which means you'll either start from the pit lane, or if they're lenient, that you'll start from the back of the grid. And Lewis Hamilton not only would have started at the back of the grid, but he would have also been excluded because of the 107% rule and started from the pit lane, which obviously he has never ever ever done. Drivers like that have very very rarely done it, even when he's had problems. Just if you want to kind of know what I'm talking about, obviously you remember Belgium, he had 10,000 place grid penalty, but instead of being excluded from qualifying, he did start at the back of the grid, but starting from the pit lane is a bit worse. So instead of being excluded from qualifying, he did a slow lap, if that, just to qualify, and then obviously start the race. If you're outside the 100% rule, you start from the pit lane. Anyway, so he was pulling out some incredibly slow times, and that really was a slow time, almost 1 minute 50. I mean, that was really, really bad. Now, obviously, I didn't watch the last few races live on the telly. Unfortunately, I had to go to work, so I was listening on the car radio. But obviously, like JT and like many people out there, you'll have been watching Lewis Hamilton go around, look really, really slow. And just to put it out there, obviously, Formula 1 cars look slow on the telly, especially coming down straights. But obviously when you're at the track, they are so fast. And obviously me and JT know that from experience. Not experience in the car, I mean watching them at the track. Anyway, so Lewis Hamilton was going incredibly slow all the way around. Obviously Nico Rosberg was getting behind. You could even see him weaving, like, can I pass Lewis? Get him out of the way. Sebastian Vettel was even weaving around Rosberg. But obviously it must have been very tense. I don't know about Lewis. I mean, again, it's not really sure why he was tense. Do you think the lead was going to go from him? But I've got to say it was looking like that, because you just saw coming in these last few corners, any mistake by obviously the leader of the race or Rosberg, anyone could go past. One driver, 2 drivers, 3 drivers could go past. So technically, I'll give it. So obviously, if Lewis Hamilton, so obviously Sebastian Vettel finished the race, he was 800th of behind. Obviously behind the leader, Lewis Hamilton. So if Lewis, say, went off the racing line for a second or two, it might have allowed Rosberg to go past, and then even Sebastian Vettel to go past, which obviously would have been bad for Lewis. I mean, obviously he would always lose the world championship, but obviously he wouldn't win the race, and he would be on the bottom step of the podium. So obviously he wouldn't want that. But the tactic, we all know, and this isn't really a debate, we all know why Lewis Hamilton did this. It was to back Nico into the path of Sebastian Vettel, Max Verstappen, Kimi Raikkonen, Daniel Ricciardo, all the people behind. Because obviously Hamilton knew he's in the second position, he needs to fall 2 positions, and then obviously Lewis will cross the line and go, I'm the winner of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and I have lifted the World Championship. Now, obviously we all know that was Lewis Hamilton's tactic, but the question is this good for his mentality? Is this good for what we're seeing as fans? Is he being? That's a question. So JT, very simple question. I think I'm going to ask you about this. Obviously, we'll get your opinion as well. But has Lewis Hamilton, because of the actions he's displayed in the last race, is he being a sore loser? He hasn't won the World Championship, and he's almost been crying inside and going, well, I tell you what, instead of me, congratulating Nico, I mean, obviously he did shake his hand on the podium, but instead of me properly shaking his hand, why don't I go, haha, I'm going to sabotage him a bit, just because I know, I've got nothing to lose, but Nico has, and again, he's been selfish and childish, and has he just a sore loser, JT?
Well, I think the actions Hamilton took at the final few laps of that race, I think it was very, very clever. Because, and I'll explain why in a minute, because Hamilton knows he's going into this Grand Prix and he hasn't got the power to stop Rosberg in any sort of way. He's like, right, I'm going to have to drive the best of my ability and hope and pray Rosberg breaks down, crashes or whatever, and hopefully he doesn't finish the race on the podium. So it comes up to, as like Elsie said, the last few laps of the Grand Prix. Hamilton is slowing down because he knows that Sebastian Vettel, by the way guys, he's just pitted for a new set of ultra softs that he's still got spare. So I think at this point he was like 10th, I think it was, or he was quite low back, and he obviously powering through the grid. And the commentators were saying that Vettel can win this Grand Prix. He's faster than both Mercedes, for God's sake. So he's flying through with this, and he's like, right, Vettel is going to have a go at trying to win this Grand Prix. You know, he hasn't won a race all season. This would be a brilliant way to end the year. So, and Hamilton knows that Vettel's coming up fast, and he's thinking, right, Max Verstappen is also not far behind as well. Let's see what I can do here. So, and obviously, as the laps go on, he's getting slower and slower to allow Vettel to get near Rosberg. So when Vettel comes into sight, that's when Hamilton goes, right, now I've got the power now, because now I can control this Grand Prix. I'm the leader of this Grand Prix. Rosberg knows he's not going to take a slim chance of going through any gap, because he knows if he crashes, the championship is completely over for Rosberg. So he's going to be extra careful. Vettel, on the other hand, doesn't give a damn. He doesn't care if he crashes. What's he got to lose? Nothing. So that's why I think for Hamilton's Hamilton's going, right, I'm in control here, and Max Verstappen as well. He's a quick driver. He's had a good Grand Prix, so he's coming very fast. So, and obviously when you're in that position of possibly winning a championship, doesn't matter if you won 1, 2, or even 7, you are going to have a good go of winning another one. And Hamilton wants 4. If he wins 4, he becomes the most successful British world champion of all time, beating Jackie Stewart's record of 3 world championships, and be tight on level with drivers such as Sebastian Vettel and Alain Prost, an elite group of F1 drivers, and one away from Fangio. So, you know, that is a good group to be in. So Hamilton now is, I think, tactic-wise, is very, very good. I mean, when the team intervenes, such as Paddy Lowe, that's when you've got to think, right, I need to be careful here, because this is the team telling me what to do. As many drivers in their principals and whoever have said, that no driver is bigger than the team. It doesn't matter if you're Lewis Hamilton, it doesn't matter if Marcus Ericsson or you know, Joe Bloggs or whatever. You are definitely not bigger than the team. So Paddy Lowe intervenes and he says, right, Lewis, you need to pick up the pace and everything. You're going far too slow. This isn't good. And obviously Hamilton reacts by saying, look, I'm in first place. I'm in control of this Grand Prix. I'm going to win this race. And that's like that's basically giving Paddy Lowe the V's. Really, that's what he's doing. So, and obviously Nico Rosberg is, again, he's on the team radio like, oh come on, like, what's he doing? I'm empowered to win this championship. Vettel's coming up behind us. But what the media hasn't really said as much is that I heard this story. I don't know. I don't know if someone's just said this because of, you know, just to add fuel to the fire. Is that apparently Vettel didn't overtake Rosberg because he knew what Hamilton was up to. Now that is a big accusation. It's something just to throw in there. We're not going to go too much into it because it strictly it might not be true. But that is also a very good point to add, because it's like, well, Vettel's like, well, you know, I'm not going to really overtake. I'm not going to really, you know, get in their way. You know, why should I? That type of thing. It's like, and maybe Vettel's thinking, maybe Vettel's a good sportsmanship, and he's like, well, Hamilton's being an idiot really to Rosberg, so I'm going to be an idiot back. I'm German, he's British. So maybe that's why, I don't know. Because I mean, but obviously, as like I just said, Vettel, obviously he's got nothing to lose. So obviously he should have went for the race win. I don't know if that was strictly true. That's just something that I'm sure me, Elsie, and you lot out there can debate about maybe sometime, you know, whenever. But in terms of Hamilton being, like, you know, maybe a bit childish or anything, I don't necessarily think so. Because if you're in that position of winning a world championship, and if you're like, you know, properly, you have that control, like as I just said before, Hamilton had, and you lose it, it's like, well, you are going to be disappointed. And I think about 2 days later, he did the 2017 Pirelli tyre test at Abu Dhabi, such as Verstappen and Vettel did one as well. I think a lot of the teams have been doing them as well. And he pulled out because apparently he was sick. Now, a lot of people were saying that's because of the party and he was doing after the race. But when Rosberg released some photographs of the after party, when he was with Grosjean, Verstappen, Ricciardo, drivers like that, Hamilton was nowhere in sight. So where was Hamilton? Was he away somewhere? Because obviously we both know that Rosberg and Hamilton had to go away to other countries to do media work for Petronas. So maybe that's why. But I don't know. Hamilton wouldn't dare miss a party. So I don't know. Was he making it up? Was he angry or whatever? But I don't. That is something else for another day. But I think, in my opinion, Hamilton's tactics were clever. However, they didn't work, unfortunately. Max Verstappen was falling away, as Elsie said before. If Rosberg finishes away from the podium, he doesn't win the championship. He could afford to lose that place to Vettel, but Verstappen was dropping off the pace. I think Hamilton thought, oh, right, I think this is pretty much it. He got even slower and slower before eventually it was like, right, that's it. There's nothing more I can do. I tried my best. I did everything I could, and that was about it. So I think Hamilton will definitely have another shot next year at that title. But speaking of next year, we are going to discuss the 2017 calendar that has just been released this week. That's been officially confirmed, guys. This is no rumour. This is no trick from anybody trying to get media attention. This is genuine, from the FIA themselves. So we're going to quickly take a look at the calendar. It's going to appear on your screens now. There we go, guys. So as you can see here, we kick off in Australia like normal on March the 26th as the traditional curtain raiser for the Formula 1 season. Now, as you look down, we can see our first change, because in 2 weeks we go to China. Now, we don't go to Bahrain this time, we go to China. Then we go to Bahrain, and then we go to Russia. That's the flyaway events completed. We go into Spain, the first European race of the season, and it is pretty much the same. Now, the first thing I can say immediately, I probably you guys can as well, is that on Azerbaijan, the European Grand Prix, on June 25th, that actually does not clash with Le Mans. Now, it has done, well, last year it did, and a lot of fans were like, well, I wanted Hulkenberg to have another go at Le Mans. So this year it's not. So let's hope that he's with Renault, yes. So let's hope that Renault give him a chance to compete in Le Mans. So I'm pretty sure a lot of fans will be happy about that. The UK, 16th of July. I don't know why I said UK. I should say United Kingdom, but never mind. On July 16th, our home Grand Prix. No German Grand Prix. Now, this has made massive headlines. It's like, whoa, Mercedes dominating, Rosberg winning the World Championship, and they have no Grand Prix. No Hockenheim, no Nürburgring. Now, there was a rumour that apparently Imola was going to replace and take that void, but obviously, as you can see by the calendar, that is not going to happen. So, now, obviously, you've got usual races, a bit like last season, exactly the same end of the season. You've got Singapore, after Italy, Malaysia, Japan, USA, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi, the last race of the season. Now, on here, you can't say the asterisk, because, what I mean by asterisk is that normally that there will be an asterisk next to a country if it is a bit unsure. Now, everyone I've seen apart from this one has an asterisk next to Brazil. Now, Brazil is a little bit unsure as to whether it's going to be going ahead next year. Now, we all know that Brazil, it has some refurbishment. It's going under some very a bit like what the Nürburgring was, some financial problems. So Bernie Ecclestone is a bit hesitant as to whether to add it or not. So it could be 19, but as it is right now, it is going to be 20 races of the season, which is good, because teams said that maybe 20 is probably about the most we can get. 21 was a little bit too much, and obviously there is talks in the future to have 25 Grand Prix. So Elsie, the 2017 calendar, now looking at it, are you liking the way it looks? Are you pleased with everything? It is virtually the same as last season's, apart from you swap trying to Bahrain around, and you've got the European Grand Prix different to Le Mans. That's the only change I can see. So are you happy with this calendar?
No, not really, no, because obviously, as you mentioned, JT, obviously the German Grand Prix bows out. Obviously, they have a big pedigree in not just motorsport, but obviously, as you know, auto sport and cars and things like that. Obviously, there's manufacturers, companies and things like that come from Germany. Obviously, we've had loads of German world champions. Obviously, in the past, we've had Sebastian Vettel, Michael Schumacher, and then we have Nico Rosberg now, and obviously Mercedes dominating German this, German that, and then there's no race. It really is a shame. Obviously, it's been in and out of the calendar, which is obviously really weird to see. Obviously, at the German Grand Prix this year, or last season, sorry, at Hockenheim, after the first turn, that grandstand there, it was all boarded up with Rolex signs, obviously because the fans just weren't turning out there, and obviously that was very sad. I know the stadium section obviously is massive, and I think they have got a very big, attendance obviously when it's fully stocked. But that was obviously that was something that caught the eye as well. Obviously, when they went around that corner, there was no one in that stand. A bit like, now again, I'm not sure when this happened, but it's a bit like that one in China. That when you're in Sector 3 before the long straight, you've got this big grandstand, and it's always had writing on it. And I think that's like a sitting grandstand. But again, I'm not sure. I think it is. It really does look like it. And I'm like, why has that happened? But anyway, like on with that. But obviously Germany, it's sad that it's not there yet. But obviously, JT, I mean, the calendar, I mean, yes, obviously, it is good. We have the normal race. Obviously, we start with Australia. We end in Abu Dhabi. That's really, really good. Obviously, in my personal opinion, I'd like them to mix it up a bit. Obviously, I'd like to see, different races start the year.
I'm the same. I like it to be different. I like certain things. I like Australia at the start. I like British Grand Prix in the summer. I like Belgium to be the first race back after the summer break, and then everything else I want to change. I'll do like Abu Dhabi as the last race, but everything else I would like to change around.
It would be good to do like a little shuffle. And obviously, the big thing is Azerbaijan isn't on Le Mans on the date. It is good for Nico Hülkenberg. It is good for anyone else from Formula 1 who wants to have a go. And also as well, because of you Le Mans fans, you WEC fans out there, you don't have to judge, am I going to watch this? What am I going to watch live? And what am I going to watch, on record? So you don't have to like judge, you don't have to, make a crucial decision on what you're going to watch. And say that, and obviously, a big thing, as JT said, obviously, with Nico Hülkenberg, do you think he might want to go and have another go? Because I'm sure, obviously, Renault, like Force India, I'm sure they'll be very, very, very happy for him to go and do that again. So, yeah, it is good, the calendar. There's no asterisk, as JT said, obviously, so there's no doubt, there's no thinking about it. But it is strange, I've got to say, it is very strange that it's confirmed. This is a confirmation one. I thought it would at least be a rumour, because we had about 10 rumours last year about what was going to happen again. Was the German Grand Prix going to be on? Because this is, it did, obviously, a good few years, obviously, it's done loads of years on, 1 year off, 1 year on, and then it's back on. For 2017 it's 1 year off, but is it going to be like for 2018, 2019, and so on and so forth? It is, it's obviously very, very sad that it's not going to be on there with their massive legacy. I mean, I'd love to see go back to Nürburgring. That would be a really amazing. That obviously the Formula 1 circuit was good.
I want the full Nürburgring. I don't want this little one that we have now. I want the full thing.
That would be great to see. And to be honest, now that you think about it, I mean, it's not ridiculous, because obviously, back in the days, obviously in the 70s when they used the full Nürburgring, I mean, obviously it is dangerous, so obviously they would have to look into it. But obviously, it's not too bad. I mean, obviously it is a full circuit. They do it. Obviously, they had the pit lane and all that, so it is manageable. Obviously, we'll get into that in another time. If you write to us and say that you want the Nürburgring back, obviously we'll make a big video and send it off to the F1 and stuff. Hopefully they will listen to us, because we are the F1 debate show, But obviously it is a good calendar, and obviously also because of the massive regulation change that's going to happen. Obviously the cars are going to get faster, louder, wider. Obviously massive tyres, absolutely massive tyres. How is that going to affect on these circuits? I'm thinking also, especially the street circuit. So obviously you've got your Monaco, your Canada, your Azerbaijan. And obviously Singapore. Is that going to make the racing?
Are they going to fit?
I was going to say, will it be literally one car's width? Is that going to be it? Or is it going to be like that scene on...
You have to expand Monaco just to get the tyres. Or is it going to be
like that scene on Tooned, on the Mika Hakkinen episode, where the trolley's trying to go down that road and it's bashing against the side? Obviously, hope you watched Tooned. So obviously that is really, really, really good to see that. That's about it for the calendar. There's not much to say about that, but yeah, so excited. I hope you guys are as well. What do you want to see changed around and stuff like that? I mean, we could grabble on for hours about what we'd like to see in order. Anyway, so the next topic we're going to quickly go on to is obviously the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I mean, again, there's not much to say about that. Obviously, it was nice to see. It was nice to watch it on Sunday. Obviously, as JT said, Abu Dhabi is a season closer. It's a good circuit. Obviously, I did like Brazil, and obviously we've had other season finale rounds before. But obviously, Abu Dhabi is great. It's a glitz and glamour. It's Monaco in the dark. What other circuit? Oh, Singapore. That's what I was thinking, because I said there was another track that was Monaco in the dark. Abu Dhabi is like, let's say, what's it?
Abu Dhabi.
What's it in the dark?
Abu Dhabi. It is like no other, because it starts in the day, ends at night. That's what I really love, and it's got the perfect scenery for that as well. Like, I couldn't imagine that at Silverstone.
No,
you know what I mean?
No,
that it just wouldn't be right. And also or like in Australia or something. It just
and also
be
as
right.
Well, obviously. Because of like how obviously Abu Dhabi is almost very close to the equator on the northern hemisphere, because of how it's worked, and obviously I've been to that region as well. What happens is obviously sunrise and sunset is almost, it's almost like someone drops a curtain. It goes from day to night. Obviously in England it takes a good few hours in the summer, but as JD said, obviously it is very nice over there. You have the hotel, obviously that lights up. It's got the fishnet that lights up different colours, and it is really it suits it really. So obviously it is really, really great. We saw that again. It is sad it's the last round. We don't have Formula 1 for a round. I think it's about 110 days approximately, summed from now, about 12 weeks from now. So obviously it's very, very, very sad for that. yeah, it's obviously great to see. And yeah, we saw that's obviously on the podium. We had Lewis Hamilton, Nico Rosberg, and Sebastian Vettel. We had obviously four world championships from Seb. We had three world championships from Ham, and we had one world championship from Rosberg. So that all three of them were standing on there, which to be honest kind of takes away that like smugness, because obviously a lot of times, JT, there has been obviously almost all of them. There's been Hamilton and Rosberg in there, but then a lot of the time there has been, as I say, Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah, apart from Spain.
And obviously, if it was Sebastian Vettel, Nico Rosberg, and Sebastian Vettel, Nico Rosberg, and Lewis Hamilton, Nico will be sitting there like, oh my god, I haven't won a world championship. I'm like, I'm out my league. But now he has finally.
Yeah.
So it wasn't weird. But I'll tell you just one quickly thing. The weird thing I thought was on the podium, like just it was such a PR campaign. Lewis Hamilton on the interview with DC said, when DC asked him a question, he went, before I start, congratulations, man. And then he went to go and get a shaking hand. All the pictures, all the media. And then DC told him to do it again. That was weird. That was weird. And then obviously Sebastian Vettel does it again. That wasn't too bad, but God's sake, you can't get more of a PR campaign than that. No, I'm joking. It wasn't a PR campaign. It was Lewis being nice, but obviously it is his image. He will want everyone to need it. It's nice, but it was weird how DC told him to do that again. That's a weird thing. Make of that what you will, guys. But it was an amazing race, and obviously the final time we can award the driver of the day.
It is, yes. Obviously, this is the last time we're going to award this trophy, this most prestige trophy in Formula One. Obviously, I had to quickly go and get it there. I seen it behind the camera. I was like, I need that for this bit. So, I mean, who else better to give it to than we're not going to give him it because of this sole reason. I'm going to give him it because of the pressure he was under from other drivers and from his own teammate. And then he still battled through it. He kept his composure, he kept the car on the track, and he managed to win his first world championship. And that is going to Nico Rosberg. That is the only driver I can think of that deserves it. Vettel, perhaps he's there, but he wasn't fighting for a title. Nico Rosberg was, and that is the only reason why I am giving this to him. I'm pretty sure Elsie agrees with me as well. I'm pretty sure that you guys agree with me as well. I don't know who actually won the real driver of the day award. I'm not too sure about that. But I do know that Nico Rosberg is our final F1 Debater Driver of the Day award winner. And he quickly sent me this email. He said, right, what did he say? What did he say? He said this. He's just sent me this email, by the way, guys. He said, I have won many trophies in my career. Race wins, pole positions, and obviously most recently the World Championship. But this Driver of the Day award, my first ever of my career, just tops it all off. I'll be celebrating this with my dad, with Vivian, and my daughter. Partying all night, partying all day, because of only one award that he has won, which is the Driver of the Day award, which is very, very honoured. And he also said, P.S. Keep up the good work, guys. We always love that. We always love from a driver who really respects us. And we're going to send Lewis Hamilton a friend request because he hasn't won one this season.
Oh yes, so, we're allowed to now. I also thought that JT was actually trying a terrible Kiss reference, but he might not have been. We will never know. Yeah, obviously, anyway, so Nico Rosberg finally gets one, as JT said, obviously, he finally gets one. We will be discussing more about the driver of the days, but obviously, the two at the top is Max and Seb, both on 3, and Lewis has 2, but obviously, Nico now has 1. Anyway, guys, so that's the end of this F1 debate show. Thank you very much for watching. Please catch our next week's video, which obviously is episode 36. Let's hope this week is full of F1 gossip and news, because obviously there's a lot of drivers who haven't been signed. There's a lot of drivers who have been signed, but obviously, a lot of things need ironing out, as you know, before Christmas, and we like it now. We like it juicier when it's like January, February, but obviously, can more news come out of this week? So obviously, we hope you enjoyed the last race of the season, and by the way, we forgot to say this at the start, this obviously is the first episode where we have done a full season. I mean, obviously, it's not the year anniversary of the F1 debate show, but yeah, we did an F1 debate show. I think it was, let's have a guess, let's say something like episode 5 was, yes, it was episode 5 or 6, something like that. 5 or 6 was the Australian Grand Prix, and then obviously, episode 35 or episode 34 even was the last one in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So thank you very much. Please stick with us over the winter. Obviously, more plans will be coming and into 2017 season. And thank you very much for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next episode.
See you later, guys.